There's always a lot of interests out there from big real estate companies like Zillow and Redfin, as well as the real estate agents and mortgage brokers. It's really all in their best interest to tell you that yesterday was the best time to buy a house, but the second best time to buy is today. And that is no different right now in the middle of 2025 because Zillow just came out with a story saying that this is why it's actually still a good time to buy a house. Well, if Zillow says it is, then it must be, right? Because after all, Zillow has a prediction that home prices are going to drop 0.8% by the end of the year, which would be the first annual decline since 2011. So senior economist over at Zillow, I don't even know how to say this guy's name, Orphe Divounguy.
That would be Orphe Divounguy is how you pronounce his name. Bartonello.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it again. He says that you need to take advantage of this window of opportunity. He says that competition has been muted by high mortgage rates and broader economic jitters, including stubborn inflation and concerns about tariffs. Meanwhile, inventory has grown and buyers have more choice and leverage, and 27% of listings include a price cut, which is the highest of any month since January of 2018. Now, on the surface, all that does sound good, and I will tell you, with somebody who has a lot of experience in this field, that it is a better time to buy now than it probably has been over the past 3 years or so, but by no means is it actually a good time to buy. It's better than it was, but it's not good.
You want us to believe what it is that you're saying when you say that the housing market isn't as good as the Zillow economist or others are saying because you've been doing this a long time. In fact, when you look in your description, you're telling folks, hey, if you need a realtor, you can point them in that direction. All I'm saying is this, man. I get it. Where the attention goes, the money flows. And you do a good job of captivating an audience based upon your numbers. Shout out to you. Not mad. Never been a player hater. We all have our own opinion. And what's good and bad is relative to whoever the person is. As soon as rates get better and folks start buying again, I think you're going to change your narrative and you'll start selling houses. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. But as my wife says, only time will tell. So you make the determination on what's good or bad for you and your household. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert. And on this channel, we simplify the home loan process. And for all of you with the Twitter fingers, I am a lender. See, I'm going to tell you that up front so that you can make the best decision for you and your family on whether you want to buy, sell, refinance, anything that's pertaining to residential real estate in these United States.
And something that people need to understand is all the reasons that they're highlighting right now are probably going to persist. The high interest rates, those aren't going anywhere. The higher inventory, that's not going anywhere either, as more people are kind of pushed into a we need to sell situation today, or are trying to take advantage of prices while they're still high. Less competition, that's not going anywhere either, because the vast majority of people can't even afford to buy at today's prices and interest rates. So there's no reason to believe that competition is going to just all of a sudden pick up. So trying to create this false sense of urgency of why you need to buy today and why it's a good time to buy based on those market trends is just fake news.
Okay, we've given that gentleman enough airplay. Too many folks are fixated on interest rates and thinking that they're going to go back to the pandemic era, and they're not. More times than not, interest rates of 1/4, 0.5%, 0.75%, especially depending on the loan size, really isn't going to net a huge difference in your monthly payment. Okay. In this example, 0.25%. So the interest rate 6.75 drops to 6.5. Okay. That's only going to be a $55 to $60 a month savings as far as the monthly payment is concerned. Now, here's where the rubber really meets the road. When we look at insurance premiums are continuing to climb, the homeowner's insurance, okay? You may have HOA fees that rarely decrease over time, okay? And they're often can add surprise assessments and other things that may be associated with the community that you live in. Okay. So property taxes in Texas also rank among the highest, although there's been some relief for those that are homeowners on the highest millage taxing area, which is with the schools, as well as elders. Folks, recently there's been some additional benefits for those that are primary homeowners. Okay, so keep those things in mind, that a quarter to a 0.5% decrease in your interest rate isn't really going to move the needle. Let's move forward. When rate drops disappoint. So there's an excitement initially. Nurse of two was thrilled when the rates dropped. As everybody is, everybody's watching what Jerome Powell does and looking at things that really have no effect with mortgage rates. But nonetheless, that's news that moves the needle. She called, she reached out to me, her lending professional, and she was expecting a huge savings, substantial savings on her $350,000 home. Now, here's the reality check. Her monthly payment barely budged. Why? Because home insurance, HOA, all right, and property taxes across the board had increased because there was an assessment that had to be done in the community. So what do? What we did is help Jasmine negotiate a seller credit that she could use towards a buy down, either temporarily or permanently. We also help her shop her insurance with multiple people, showed her how to bundle and increase deductibles, okay? Because these are things that you have to deal with. These are the things that move the needle to help Jasmine understand that the interest rate is really not a big deal at this point in time, because there's nothing that we really can do to make that change, to affect that, okay? So by doing the things that I just mentioned, we were able to save about $175 a month, and she's able to get onto the property ladder now so that if rates do come down in the future, she can take advantage at a price point that is not elevated. If you look at the numbers, there's not a huge drop in value like a lot of you guys want to have happen. And I understand if I was on the other side, I probably would want the same thing as well. But when we take our emotions out of it and look at the numbers over time, just hasn't happened. As I mentioned, seller credits can beat rate dips at this point in time. Why? Because you can do a lot with those monies. Either you can limit your cash outlay to get into the home and leave those monies working wherever they are, or like we said, you can use it for a rate buy down, temporary buy downs, or permanent. You have to decide which one is good for you and not let the internet or any of us talking heads make that decision for you. And so these are ways in which you can better your situation in the rate environment that we're in. Let's move forward. Now, insurance shopping. We said that before. You want to get 3 quotes from 3 carriers minimum. You want to optimize your deductibles. You want to understand what a deductible is. Make sure you have the funds for that strategy if that's what you want to do. And then make your decision. You want to bundle intelligently, okay? And then if you can separate coverages and maybe pay for them up front or not have them at a certain time, if it makes sense for you and they're not mandatory, these are all questions and strategies that you want to have fleshed out with your insurance professional in combination with your lender and your realtor. It's a team endeavor. Okay? And so as we move forward, HOAs, they've been in the news a lot here lately. Again, all it is negative, 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 negative. I want to approach it from an adult standpoint. How HOAs and property tax audits before you get into a home are very important. So you want to request and read the most recent 12 months of HOA meeting minutes. All right? You want to look for mentions of special assessments or fee increases. You want to check for the litigation or any litigation that could come up because those will equal cost. You want to evaluate the reserve fund. Now, when you look at the property tax strategy, you want to compare neighborhood tax trends over the last 3 to 5 years. This is something your real estate professional, your realtor should be able to help you with. You want to check for expiring tax abatements or incentives in the area that you're in. You want to research plan developments that could impact the assessments, and then budget for protest filings to challenge increases. These are all things that you want to do before entering into a community, getting in the community, and then getting on YouTube, Twitter, and all these other places talking about, I'm going to jail because my grass is brown, right? You have to know these things before you owe. Let's move forward. So now, special opportunities. Okay, what are the special opportunities? Well, when you couple seller concessions, which I've seen more and more now because of the elevated increase of inventory in certain markets, little longer days on market in certain markets. And now we're going into the best time of the year to buy a home, in my opinion, because the majority of folks that would have to move, the kiddos are in school. So you have a perfect storm, if you will, if you're working with the right team that's able to be aggressive but not delusional to help you get in and combine seller concessions with any down payment assistance programs that might be available to you so that you can optimize not only your monthly payment, but your cash outlay, because there's only so much you can do. Ladies and gentlemen, you're either going to get on the ladder or you're not, but the choice is yours. We all don't have to agree, and it's okay for us not to agree with everything that everybody else says. Agree? You should be able to save anywhere between $200 to $250 in the example that we showed of the $350,000 purchase in Texas, or somewhere along that continuum. But interest rates can only do so much. And so what you have to ask yourself is this: have you missed out on an opportunity to have home appreciation? Have you missed out on some lower interest rates whenever there were certain opportunities in the market because you've allowed yourself to curate an algorithm that's just doom and gloom all the time? And because of that, you're not able to even see an opportunity when it comes. That's all I want to challenge. And I'm not selling you anything, because if you decide to become a homeowner, buy a car, buy a shirt, buy a hat, because that's what you want to do. So my time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, let's be good to one another. Let us let grace abound. And if you want to continue to educate yourself on how you should go about getting on to the property ladder if you're a first-time home buyer, or how you should move up or downsize, watch this video right here. Until the next time, indeed, y'all be blessed.